I'm going to show you how I process my rabbit hides.
All right, so right now I'm preparing my bucket. These are all frozen hides from the last time I butchered. So I'm just soaking them in this bucket just to get them to thaw out.
Yes, rabbit hides. There you go. Yes. A cup of alum, a cup of salt, and 2 gallons of water. Once you have them all mixed in really well, I'm going to cover it up. I'm going to leave it underneath this bench. Every day I'm going to open that up and stir it up really good. These have been soaking for about 4 days, and I need to take this layer of fat off of them. I'm going to cut it right down the belly. So I've got it all open now, and I'm just going to pick a corner. Just kind of peels off. And this just peels. But this layer is what you want to take off. And that'll just leave the skin, the hide. But it has this extra membrane on here that you've got to peel. I do have 15 of these to do, so I'm not going to film the whole thing. It'll take forever. And I'm probably not even going to get all of them done tonight. Probably finish it up tomorrow. Hi. Good girl. All right, get down. Today I'm going to show you how I process my rabbit hides. I've had 15 rabbit hides that I've collected from the last couple of butcher sessions, and I've had them in the freezer, but I thawed them out the other day, and I put them in a solution of alum, non-iodized salt, and water in a bucket, and they've been soaking for about 5 days. I started to take the membranes off of 13 of them the other night, but I was gonna finish this up the next day, but I got called into work and then I had to work again. So it's been a couple extra days that I didn't really want to let them sit with that big fatty layer of membrane on them for this long. But I'm gonna take them off today and I'll show you what I do with them. And then they'll actually stay in the solution for about another 5 or 6 days before I actually do the stretching and the final fine tuning of peeling any more of the little membranes off that I didn't quite get this time around. So I actually have them soaking in this bucket here. I have this slotted spoon that I just used to stir it up. This is a dedicated spoon just for this process. It stays with this. I never use it in the kitchen, so don't worry. The reason I have this jar in here and these lids is because you need to keep them submerged underneath the solution. If you don't, yes, hi doggies. If you don't keep them submerged, then they start to rot, and you don't really want that. They end up getting ruined. So I'm just gonna pull this stuff out and then I'll start one. All right, so I got one here. I'm just gonna wring out a little. I just put them in right the same way I pulled them off, so they're in like a tube. And what I do is I find the armholes, and I just start at the neck, and I just cut, use my shears and just cut right down the middle. So basically cutting right down the belly. Opened up. Now you can see how it's got this, it's already starting to come loose a little in some spots. This layer of fatty membrane. So we just peel this off. I try and find a good spot. Generally, some people start at the neck and start to pull, but I don't know. Every time I do that, I end up really ripping it. So I start at the other end. And I do rip them sometimes. It's kind of a pain, but once you actually kind of get it going, it comes right off. And you can tell, hopefully you can see, I'll put it closer. So what I'm doing is I'm taking this piece off. Leave the white. We want to see white underneath. Hope this is coming out in the camera. And you're taking this peachy colored piece off. This fatty membrane. You want to be kind of gentle because they do rip easy. But see, they do just kind of peel right off. You be careful around the edges. You just work it. You don't want to pull too hard. You can put a hole right in it, and then you've ruined or you've minimized your hide into a smaller piece. I did that on a couple of them, and then I just cut it off and cut around it. So if you can see the difference of what I've already peeled off from what is coming off here. Oh, see, now I just ripped a hole right in it, right in the corner. So I'll hold my hand on that so when I pull, I won't pull it even further. You don't really want to use any special tools or anything because it's very easy to rip them. I mean, I guess you can. I don't. I think I'm afraid to do it because I'm afraid I'm going to put a hole right in it. And then after a couple of days of these back in the solution to soak a little bit more, I'll come back and I'll finalize any little bits that I might have missed, and then we'll start the drying and stretching process. But so once you get the bulk of all that fatty membrane off and it looks white underneath, that's all you need to do. Some on my edges. My edges are kind of yucky. And they soak a little bit longer, then they'll be ready to start drying and pulling. I'm going to put these covers back in just to weigh them down to keep them under the water. Or the solution, it's not just water. Put my cover back on. All right, well, I had some time struggles and some life struggles the last week or so, and I didn't get to my rabbit hides, didn't get them out of the solution in time, and they sat too long, or I didn't mix it right, or I did something wrong, because every single one of them is, and all the fur is slipping off. So I've actually, I got all of them hanging out here. I'm gonna wait for the sun to come up and dry them out, but I've ruined 15 really good rabbit hides by letting them sit too long. Life happens sometimes, and I just couldn't get to them. So I guess I will just end up just pulling the fur off of them, because it just pulls right off, and make some rabbit leather and try and find some sort of craft to do with them so I don't have to waste them all. I wish I could have shown you a good video of how I actually made them into good rabbit furs, because I've done it before. Actually, here, I'll show you a couple of the good ones that I've done. So here's some of the ones that I've done before. This one I ripped when I was pulling the membranes off. I ripped it, but I can stitch that up later. I've got this really pretty one. I like this one. It's nice broken. This one I actually ripped and then I stitched it because I wanted to see how good it would look once I stitched it, and I wanted to see how easy it would be to stitch it, and it was. And then I've got this pretty gray one. So I mean, I've done it before and they came out really nice, but for some reason this last batch you got to make sure you have enough time to process them all. I didn't this time around.